Let's talk about why we are talking steel and infra. So when I was a young engineer in one of the Birla projects we used to do, and how much we make the chart and everything, Lala will come and ask, "Kitta steel hua?" So his barometer for checking the progress was, "Kitna steel hua hai ya kitna cement gaya hai?" That was those day barometer, how the progress is done or not done. If we go a little further back, steel in India is, say, from the 18th century. So basically, if you see infrastructure or buildings in India is a pre-steel, post-steel. So where we have a wonderful temple of Tanjavur done on such a high rise without steel. So they have to do arch, they have to do the stones. And then we have a post-steel era where we progress and we measure the progress by the steel consumption. If you all remember, our Honorable Prime Minister has given the Vision 2047. The 100 year of India independence, the vision is to make India a developed economy. 20 trillion economy from the today 3.42. If we go with the nominal sections, it will increase the, welcome Amit. If we go with the nominal section, then it will increase the steel consumption and everything approximately to the $1 billion contribution in the overall economy. And if we see next 10, 20 years, the phenomenal growth which is coming from the steel, concrete and all the construction activity, there are challenges, there are thought process. Are we geared up? How to gear up on those areas? This is the few questions is coming in our mind, and that's why, if you remember earlier, some of the panelists has discussed, if you have to do the fast and if you have to grow very fast, steel is one of the most suitable alternatives. We are talking about reaching India in 2047, a developed country. What is the role of steel? How steel revolutionize the growth of India, drive the growth? So this is the point we are going to take. I will not take much time. I will start asking questions from our panelists. So one of the first question to, this is a common question. I want you to take your thought process. So I'll start from the Mr. Anurag. India is transforming in 2047 and steel is going to play a major role. Airport, bridges, buildings, lot of things which is prominently driven by the steel. What is your view for the opportunity for steel in this, next 20 years? To Mr. Anurag. Yeah.
Hello. Well, in the morning session, somebody said that in India, the ratio of cement use to steel use is probably 3:1. And in developed countries, probably it is 1.5:1 or even equal in some cases. I think as we are going to develop more and more infrastructure, at least for the new development, I clearly see that for all new development, we are going to approach the ratio in favor of steel much faster because of the inherent benefits what steel has got actually.
Thanks, Mr. Anurag. Hiten, what do you think? You have seen the steel in last 20 years growing from the very small amount to the more than 150 million tons consumption nowadays. And India has become the second largest producer of steel recently. So what do you see the opportunity for steel in the next 20 years or next 25 years for developed India?
Thanks, Vansal. See, basically, we have a tremendous scope in all different fields. One is even in our housing industry and in the infrastructure. The type of steel which is being used internationally is massive. See, in our railways, steel was always used because there's no other option. With the sleepers and this and that, I mean, there is with the whole system of the railways, including the bridges and the bogies and everything, steel is used. But as far as the buildings are concerned, people today are only looking at commercial buildings, they're looking at IT, now they're looking at data centers. Finally, I think down the line it will be coming also for housing in a big way. I'm talking about in a big way. So there is a tremendous scope going in that line, because once there are certain nitty-gritties which are slowly ironing out. Like previously the contractors, the availability of material, all this we are seeing since the last 10 years in our steel day. Things are moving, progressing. They are not progressing at the pace they should, but they are progressing, okay? And in infra, where India requires a huge amount of infra yet to be done. Now, as you see in the new Atul Setu bridge, they've used steel in a very big way with the orthotropic members, the large span members. So there, in the infra also, as today's we were having a Super 7 session where, you know, you have these girders being used, this being used. So I feel whatever quantity we have today, though it is large, it's not at all the volume which is done internationally. So there's tremendous scope.
Thanks, Hiten. Shashank, you are associated with the bridges, and you have done some of the wonderful bridges also. What do you see with the coming days, next 20 years, if the so many bridges, so many railways to be built? What is your view? What vision you see based on your learning and experience?
Yeah, thank you. I can see large potential of steel industry, because if you consider the last span bridges, like 120 meters or more than that, you cannot ignore steel. It has to be constructed with steel. And concrete bridges, if you are going more than 100 meters or 120 meters, there has to be a special structures like balance cantilevers or extra dose kind of structures or cable stay. But in that case, steel will be a cheaper option if long span bridges are considered. So I can see a large potential of steel when we consider, large span bridges.
Thanks, Shashank. Mohit, you are in the position at RDSO where you actually have a choice. You have a choice for all material, and you are, as a nation builder, you are taking a decision. So what is your view for a 1947 vision? How important role steel is going to play as a whole? Bridges and all those, infra you are talking about.
Okay. Thank you, Anandji. Very good afternoon to everyone. So when we say Vision 2047, we understand that India wants to become a developed nation by 2047. Let's see what does it mean for railways. So the cost of logistics basically defines the competitiveness of any economy, because it is getting reflected into cost of every good, every service, etc. So any developed economy which has become developed in the past, they have always tried to control the cost of their logistics within certain percentage of their GDP. Now, talking in terms of India, the major portion of this has to be railways. Why? Because railways is number one-third of the cost of transportation by road, and 10 times cleaner. We are fully electrified, but our road sector is fully dependent upon diesel and petrol. So railways becomes a naturally choice when some economy, a big economy like India, wants to become competitive, wants to become a developed nation. So this is not theory only. You can see this in government's priorities. As far as railway is concerned, this year's annual budget allocation is 2,40,000 crores Indian rupees, which is a mammoth, never before kind of, budget allocation for railways. Where this fund will go? Definitely, this fund will go into creating future-ready, world-class railway infrastructure, which can sustain transportation needs for certain decades. So now let's come to the steel. So when we say growth of infrastructure, from railways point of view and from steel as a sector point of view, we can identify 4-5 areas. Number one is definitely new tracks where rail is directly getting consumed as a steel. New tracks means new doublings, new lines, new dedicated freight corridors, new high-speed corridors, etc. Number two is bridges. When we speak about bridges, it means railway bridges, it means road over bridges, it means foot over bridges. Number three is rolling stock. When we say rolling stock, I mean locomotives, new train sets like Vande Bharat, wagons, coaches, etc., and all the allied technology which comes with it. Number four, a major thing is railway electrification. It also consumes a lot of steel because the pace at which tracks would be built, obviously since we are 100% electrified, so obviously railway electrification will follow. And the fifth one is station redevelopment. Right now, Indian Railway is executing world's largest station redevelopment program, where we are converting 1,309 stations into world-class stations. So overall, I see these 5 big themes around which steel as a sector can play its major role. And right now, I can definitely say we are into the golden era of, if you want to call it from a steel usage perspective, it's Amrit Kal for, steel consumption as far as railways is concerned.
So, wonderful insight. Amit, world is growing in a steel roughly 5.5% per year. Indian steel industry is growing with a double, almost 9.5 per year till now. Possibly, this will double. If you have to achieve the growth, if you have to become the developed world by the 2047, then country has to grow 8% per annum year on year without fail. And construction is going to play, development is going to play. So what you see, you had seen the lean period where we were having the steel supplier contractor on fingers, and now we have a very large pool. What you see in the coming 20-25 year, where we'll reach with this vision?
Doubling, I would say, is probably a lesser estimate.
No, doubling per 10 years.
You are being very conservative.
No,
it has to be
doubling
more
per
than
10
that.
years. Sorry.
No, it has to be much more than that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It has to be much more than that. See, it's very simple logic. If we know what we want to achieve, to reach there, whatever is required, we must do. If we don't do it, we will miss. Others will go ahead of us. So we have to run. There's no choice, number one. Number two, we have potential to do it. There is no second thought on that. I mean, on one conference, if we have 600, 700 structural engineers, civil engineers, and steel construction people sitting, then you can estimate the availability of professionals for doing steel construction. They are available. They are going to increase because there is a demand. The sector demands it, so more and more people availability. As far as opportunities are concerned, he has listed out already so many opportunities in railways. Okay, that's one sector. Imagine, we have like that so many airports being built. You have so many highways being constructed. With every highway, you will need number of bridges. All the bridges. In the morning, Mr. Ashwin Kumar was saying that steel is far stronger than concrete, which all of us knows, right? So that consumption has to increase. It's only question of time that everybody starts understanding that, look, this is a better material, this is stronger material, let's use that. We can construct much faster with that. Why not? That time is essence today. If you construct a bridge in 2 years and see the utility versus you construct the same bridge in 5 years and see the utility. If you construct that in 5 years, by the time bridge is ready, traffic has grown maybe much more than that. That bridge is of no use.
Mumbai's case, till the infrastructure
Simple.
is built.
Right. So why not? Please use steel and make sure that we are in time. We don't want to be late.
Mr. Gore, the question to you is, in India, the structural steel has a very limited percentage in residential. While we see the West economy, the structural steel in residential is roughly 40–50%, where in India is very low. With the prefab building coming in, lot of prefab players coming in, your experience, what you see is the prefab building is going to answer the residential need? Because if they, then it's one of the largest market available.
Well, the contribution of residential sector to steel has been lower in other countries also actually. Especially I got experience of working in Dubai. In 2000s, during when I was working there, mostly many proposals for commercial buildings used to be in steel. Not so many as a residential, and I think in the context of India, there are both technical and non-technical reasons for it. Technically, actually, steel becomes more economical when you require more open spaces, okay? So that is what is requirement of a commercial spaces because they want more flexibility for their tenants. They want to arrange their offices the way they want. Also, those people are more amenable to the types of finishing or facades they want because, the entire beauty of steel structures is that you can finish them very fast, okay? And there is no point in just completing the framework very fast. You should be able to complete the enclosure also very fast. So the type of facades which are there, the glass, these things. So these are more probably preferred in the office segment, actually. So this is one of the technical reasons. Non-technical reason is that still the common person at ground, I mean in the Indian context especially, associates house with, brick and mortar. That is how their feeling is right now. And in the Indian social situation, economic situation, we have plenty of people available in rural areas who do that type of work easily. So this is a combination of these things which are responsible. Slowly it is going to change definitely. Each country has got preferences. For example, you go to America, many parts of America you have wooden buildings, wooden houses. So India right now is tilted towards concrete or maybe mud houses or so, stone houses. That is how we stand today. But I'm sure as days pass, benefits of steel will, many more people and especially many more architects will start seeing the benefits of using steel and the steel construction, and we will have better sharing even those segments.
Hiten ji, if we see this kind of growth in steel, the challenge which we face in last decade was a supply of material, skilled manpower, the vendors, correct? Then the demand is now slowly reaching the level where you are matching the today's demand, correct? But this multifold growth will take us where? How to get those many skilled manpower? Because skilled manpower is required from design to construction to, everywhere. How to mitigate that challenge?
Basically, the usage of steel requires less labor, but skilled labor. We have a labor problem now in India. Everyone's facing that. So the solution is steel, actually. So when you go, so point is that there are challenges, as my colleague was saying, regarding, the mindset and all that. But we have to think out of the box, basically. Residential usage in steel will be something where you need to work, everyone thinks of steel with glass facade and stuff like that. So that mindset has to go, okay? In commercial, it becomes very simple. How to come up with solutions. Mindset of walls, basically. You can do block work, you can do a combination of Maiwan or Meva with steel. So how to get around all those things, those solutions have to be got. And I think that is the way to solve the residential requirement, because the residential requirement is volumetric in India, all over. There, Modi has given a commitment of giving houses to...
But one crore house to...
Yeah, so that at a pace you want to go, steel is the solution. But work out the detailing from point of view, because we have got a lot of high, monsoon zone areas, high, heat areas. So how to circumvent those issues, local issues, the solutions have to be different in different regions in India. So that is what one has to think of. And I think once you can break through those solutions, like using concrete and other materials with steel, and how to expedite the work, that will really be a game changer.
Amit, I'll ask you the same question. The challenge of people, the end of the day, you can get the factory and you get the material. But what about the people, designer? Last 10 years, we have seen this challenge, and today, sometimes I stop hearing that much about that. But if you are going the growth 10% per year or year.
Right. So challenges will always be there. And onus is on us to overcome those challenges. There's no point saying someone else will supply me skilled manpower. No need to wait for anybody
Basically,
to do
our
that.
fabricator, our designer has to.
Right. So we need to train those people. Ample of civil engineers are available. I don't think there is scarcity of civil engineer. Recruit them, train them. It will take you 6 months to 1 year, but you will have trained manpower availability. All right, number one. Number two, automate it. For example, nobody even imagined 20 years before that we will be designing a building in time of maybe a day or half a day. In those days, designing one building used to take 2 months, 3 months.
Correct.
Right? StatPro came, we started designing quickly. So there will be mother
Mother of,
necessity is mother of invention.
Yes.
So things will happen. We need this. There is no second thought on that. We have to achieve that. No second thought on that. And onus is on us. We cannot complain to anybody that, look, please supply me trained structural engineer. From where will they come? I'll tell you, I'll go very, very good example. There are few consultants in Gujarat, okay? They have started training program, okay? They charge fresh engineers. We will train you, okay? And we will train you on actual job. So they'll get their professional work done free of cost. Not free of cost for them. They are taking money from the student. But in a process, those students are trained. Now, if they are good, probably they recruit themselves. If they are otherwise, employability of the student increases. So all students are willing to spend time and money for that. So some kind of such innovative ideas and solutions will have to be taken on.
So necessity is mother of invention.
Absolutely.
Shashank ji, now come to you. You had a wonderful experience in the Chenab Bridge, which everybody had seen the wonderful photo. So can you tell us briefly your experience and challenge? We are little cut down time by the organizer, so we all have a little restrictions,
Chenab Bridge, I have a wonderful experience of working on Chenab Bridge. Chenab Bridge currently is the tallest railway bridge in the world. The span of the arch is 467 meters, and the total length of the bridge is 1.3 kilometers. So the arch was constructed in cantilever construction method with the stay cable supports. And the deck over the Chenab Arch Bridge was done incremental launching. So maximum incremental, that was the 1.3 kilometer of the incremental launching was split in 4 parts. And the maximum tonnage we have pulled together is 4,630 tons. That was, each segment was 80 metric tons. That was the Chenab Bridge. And talking about the steel structures, I mean, I was handling 3 projects in Afcons, that is Chenab Bridge, MG Setu, and Mokama. The combined tonnage of the projects was 130,000 metric tons. So quite a huge. And Chenab was one of the kind of project that was that everybody has seen. So that was a marvelous project. I mean, any specific question regarding Chenab?
That we will take in question and answer if we permitted by the.
So indirectly, nobody would have imagined that this bridge will be constructed in steel in such a way. But that was necessity. So somehow it happened. That's what I was trying to say. We have a necessity, let's go for it. Someday we will find solution.
And we cannot imagine any other material constructing that kind of bridge. Exactly. I mean, 467 meters of arch span. I mean, that can be done only in steel structures.
And Mohit ji, RDSO, I want the audience to tell what you are doing. You are doing what are the things which you have done and what are your future plans. And today what happened, the government is insisting a lot on a timely completion and they are willing to spend the money. So how you see steel related with this?
Okay. So just to give you a perspective, RDSO basically a research, design and standardization organization. When it comes to bridges, bridge has definitely got a life cycle. It starts from drawing, it goes into, manufacturing into workshop, then it goes into erection site where it is erected and launched, and then it is put into service. Once it completes its, suppose service life, it gets replaced by another one. So at each stage, RDSO has got contribution. At design stage, we standardize the design of railway girders as well as road over bridges and foot over bridges. For fabrication purpose, we do registration of qualified welders, qualified fabricators who have got certain capabilities when it comes to fabrication, and we register them, and they are called RDSO approved vendors where these bridges components are fabricated. Then it goes to the site, so we have certain guidelines, regulations, etc. to govern that, and then it is put into service. So this is how RDSO is basically working. Presently, we have standardized, when it comes to railway bridges, we have standardized open web girders, we have standardized composite girders, and we have standardized plate girders. And when it comes to road over bridges, we have two options. Number one is composite steel plate girder and bow-shaped bow string girders. So this is more or less the brief about what RDSO is doing. As far as future requirements and future perspective is concerned, I think to delve into that, we have to see what railway is desiring now, what railways is eyeing for. Railways wants now higher speeds. Now railway wants higher loads to be carried. So any development in material or structure wise towards serving these goals is definitely a welcome step which railways will, take hands on. Then structural reliability. Then lesser maintenance requirements for structures. We want such structures, we want such materials which require less and lesser maintenance. Then faster pace of construction. Any scheme, any technology, through innovation or R&D, which gives solution on these aspects. So this is what we are looking for, and in future it would be reflected into the RDSO working also.
Thanks, Mohit. I think it's a wonderful insight. I'll go to Hiten. Hiten, we have seen earlier that national players and international players, we didn't have enough expertise. A lot of international players came in design as well as the construction. But that has helped. A lot of people got trained. So what you see, the future trend, how it will go? There will be more international players will come in India, seeing the growth opportunity?
Actually, the market is open to everyone. There are a lot of international consultants, contractors also coming from Dubai, from other places. And that is the reason we have been able to see a growth in all the fields. Because of the expertise which were there abroad, they are coming in, or they are tying up with the local vendors and coming up with a combined effort. So that way it's going to help us only. And the technology which has already been, it's like, why reinvent the wheel? So things which have been used are being used again here in India. So definitely the quality of the product, the work, the implementation, all that is improved. We've got very good project managers also. The international project managers also come in. So a lot of combination between the locals and the international players are shaping up all the projects and infrastructure projects and housing projects in India. So definitely there's a superb scope and it is definitely going to help and it's always welcome.
Thanks, Mr. Gore. In short, the pre-engineered buildings are getting popular. Why? This is taking the larger space in steel now overall. Earlier it was very small, now multiple players are here.
Well, it is really interesting to understand how this industry, pre-engineered building, has completely captured one segment completely, especially the low-rise building segment. Okay, worldwide 60-70% steel consumption is still in this type of buildings actually. And the way they have made structural steel most economical is really worth understanding, and if the same can be replicated in other areas, I think it will be really very, very competitive.
So it will become separate segment like
Absolutely.
stainless steel?
See, for example, it is even taking over the traditional structural steel industry, maybe more advanced version of that. One thing is that you have high strength plates already always available. Okay, in traditional structural steel, sometimes you don't get these sections when you want them. In plate construction, right from 5 mm, 6 mm, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, all thicknesses are available. You can make the section what you want as a structural engineer. So this is the one fundamental advantage. Second thing is that you can provide your section as you want. See, reinforced concrete had one advantage. They could cut their rebars. Some places I require 10 bars, some places I require 5 bars. Skilled people could not do that. They could not cut the sections. But with PB, it is possible. You can change your thicknesses as you want and you can economize. So this is number 2. They have adopted different design standards also to suit the requirement. You are constructing a warehouse, okay, you are a bit lenient towards little bit sway here and there. You adopt American standards, MBMS standards. It works perfectly all over the world. So this is number 3. Number 4 is that it is a controlled fabrication in your workshop with a machinery, advanced machinery, and lot of standardization. I mean, skill is not only about skill, but also about all the other elements which fit, because finally, it is the finishes what is most important. Everybody is going to see. Like, for example, if we want to use skill in, say, commercial or residential segment, nobody wants to see how the skill looks, but how the finishes look. And there is a tremendous standardization in all these finishes in this industry. They look much better. Okay? The 5th one is that I don't know how far it will be applicable in the Indian context, but at least internationally in economies where there is no much inflation, you can procure large quantities of plates and stock it with you at comparable. And all this benefit is passed on to the customer. And 6th, which is the most important thing, which is not seen in other segments, is the competitive bidding. I have worked in my career almost 20-25 years with consultants and few years with contractors like pre-engineered building. I can vouch, nobody economizes structures as much as a contractor will be doing. Because you float an inquiry to 4 or 5 prospective contractors and tell them, okay, one who designs most economically, the project is yours. That vigor with which he will economize is completely different. So these 6 elements are there, which makes it.
Last point is debatable. I have 2 designers sitting in the table.
I'm just raising. I mean, how it has become economical and how the benefits have been passed to the clients. And in your even conventional structures, like for example, a data center or even a process structure or a high-rise buildings, how many boxes you can tick? High strength advantage is already there. Okay, control fabrication is there. More boxes you are able to tick, the more it will become more economical for you, this solution. Okay.
So time shortage take me to the next panelist, Mr. Shashank, in brief. What are the trends coming in the bridges now more?
The trends that are coming in the bridges is like, the composite structures. That is not a new trend, but, if I talk about Chenab, the tubes of the Chenab arch, they were filled with concrete. That was required because the lateral stiffness of the wind at that height, that is around 371-meter height, the wind was phenomenal. And the alone steel was deflecting too much. So what we did is we filled the tubes with concrete. There is one more possibility of advancement in steel coming up is that is steel pre-stressing. You might have heard about the concrete pre-stressing that is very common. We pre-stress the girders and we reduce the section of the concrete sections. But there is a concept coming in like steel pre-stressing. Like pre-stressing wires are tied at the bottom or the bottom chord of the steel I-beams so that the depth of the sections get reduced. So designers all over the world are working on it, and the concept is also coming in India. So that is also possible. And there are some high grades of steel that are coming in, like 600 MPas and all. So we'll have to look into the metallurgy, what kind of designs we can make with that grades. But the ductile material like 250 grade or 350 is still a good material in case of if we are thinking about the fatigue life of the bridge. So this kind of advancements are coming in the steel markets.
Thanks, Shashank. I'll come to Amit. Probably this will be the last question. If anybody has any question, don't have a time, but we will take liberty in 1 or 2 questions. We'll ask if people ask. Amit,
We can take more of
No, let
audience.
one question to you. What are the trend? We have talked trend in the prefab, bridges, railways phenomenal. India in the time of independence has a 65,000 kilometer railway, out of which 10,000 gone to Pakistan. And today we are talking in crores of kilometers, 58 crore or something estimated number of railway line in India. Airport 74 to now 487. But again, we are still far off. Brazil itself has a 5,000 airport. America has a 13,000. So if we say Brazil itself, so we are 10 times lower than that. But again, this required the advancement in steel, the new trends in steel. He spoke about in bridges. What do you think the new trends coming in a steel, like from concrete filled tube to fireproof steel? What are the new trends? What high strength steel?
Right. So there are quite a few new trends if you see that way. Number one, we have fireproof steel available now directly. You don't have to do fire treatment, you don't need vermiculite paints and all. The steel itself is fire rated and you get that. So fabricate and fix it, over, number one. Trend number two, India now has their own standard for composite designs. It was pretty old. Earlier standard was I think 1970 or something. They have revised it now. Now that's fairly good standard. It's available for design and we can utilize, so we'll get both advantage of steel and concrete, and you optimize the cost that way. Okay. Second advancement that we are seeing, once software gears up to that requirement, I think that will be used very widely by all structural engineers. Third, high grade of steel. Earlier we have 250 and 350 grade, and now people are talking about 550 grade. That's available. You can use it, and it's not very expensive. So in applications like he was mentioning, you have a large span bridge, please use that. It's going to save a lot of money. So with that advancement, cost of bridge construction in steel is going to come down. Substantially, it's going to come down. So more and more further adaptability. You can keep using that further. So each of this advancement is required in a specific sector, like composite construction, very good for residential buildings. High strength steel, very good for bridges. Fireproofing, very good for data centers and commercial buildings. So each of such application, we have some of the other new thing coming up. As we started with, invention is always mother of necessity. You need it and let's invent it. It's not one person who is doing it. It's entire industry who is working towards that. And I'm sure we will have answer to each of those challenges. Right? So somebody, I remember, I think last till day or before that, redesigning of connections, the way we connect steel beams and steel girders, the way we bolt it and all, you redesign so that the connections can be done faster, because every connection is a time. When it comes to erection, every connection takes time. If you reduce that, you save on time.
So tomorrow AI will help you with the connection. We have a time
Yes.
for one or two questions, but my sincere request is question only. If you have something which you want to tell us offline. If somebody has a questions to our eminent speaker, please ask.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bhushan. I work with Afcons Limited. My question is, steel consumption is growing day by day in India. So, what will be the comparison of your maintenance after 20 years with compared to the concrete and steel? Because the corrosion will be the major portion in steel composite. So, what will be the comparison of cost with respect to maintenance?
Amit, you want to take?
See, when we are growing in steel, nobody is saying that concrete is getting replaced. No, let both of them go hand in hand. We have so much of work, we want to construct so much. So that's number one. I'm not comparing, I'm not saying that wherever you are using concrete, replace it with steel. Makes no sense. We can have composite constructions. So maybe steel consumption may not increase so much, but the speed of construction has increased. Your costing for particular project changes. A lot of advantage in that. Now coming to what kind of ratio we see 20 years down the line, there will be more and more adaptability of steel. That is definitely going to increase. There is no second thought on that. You can have any kind of projections that you will have 50-50, you will have 70-30 and all. Numbers makes no sense, really speaking. We need it. Simple as that. We need it. And use it very judiciously. Not that everywhere steel is good. Not necessary. Somewhere concrete gives you better property, use concrete. Somewhere steel gives you better property, use it. Decide, I mean, that has to be decided by structural engineer. That, look, I want to design this in steel. Steel will be much faster and cheaper for me. In many of the projects, we have shown that steel is cheaper than concrete. You take any warehouse probably for that matter, you construct that in RCC, construct that in steel. Steel cost will be far lesser than RCC. So you have to find out those things and start replacing quickly.
I will add up one quick note. Concrete will be always elder brother. It's not
I would
going
like to add to this.
They will be always elder brother. Virat Kohli will be still highest run scorer in the team. Anybody can become captain. So this is not going to change.
I think
thank
your
you.
question
Sorry.
basically it's not always decided based upon the economics. Most of the times it is decided based upon the purpose of the structure. So as far as railways is concerned, for a certain smaller sections, we keep using, RCC boxes, composite steel plate girders, slabs also, even U-shaped girders also, even PSC I-section girders. But they serve up to a certain specific span requirement only, after which, you have no option but to go for the steel. For example, if I say you that, you make an analysis of, for substructure, you make an analysis of steel versus concrete. You will definitely go for, concrete. There is no question of, questioning that decision. So it's like that. It's more or less purpose-driven decision.
And another thing is easier to retrofit steel than concrete. In the long, for repair, I'm talking about for serviceability.
Anybody else? Yeah, lady has a question. Can you?
Pre-engineered buildings are designed in violation of the IS codes. The pre-engineered buildings do not really follow the IS codes, and that can create a problem later. We as structural engineers are responsible for the safety of our buildings. Your take on it, sir?
It's a very much gray area. I think we can take one full panel discussion itself in that. But let's take a quick one because it's a little gray area.
I agree with you. I mean, whatever country we are staying in, we have to follow these codes. So, it is up to the consultants to specify designs strictly as per Indian codes, following all the clauses. My experience, I will tell you, normally speaking, almost 80-90% inquiries today, like consultants like Amit ji, Okay, they never allow us to design anything, using anything else than Indian codes. There are few players, small players, small warehouses somewhere. They go for this type of, concessions sometimes.
I think this will be, I'm sorry, I think this is a too vast a topic to
Yes.
cover. I can only say on behalf of all, the responsible structural engineer don't do, nobody like to violate the IS code, any responsible. We can't talk about the minority who is not following, and we told organizer to take separate panel discussion itself on that.
Yes.
I like to remind everybody one of the very good note from the morning, ki we need tomorrow's infra today. I tell you the reason, very simple. The India developed the road, we have a all over the road development on that. Who benefited? Farmers, their food product could travel longer. Automobile industry, car sales has gone up. So basically when one thing developed, it's benefited all across on the area. There is a huge change of infra in the modernization and urbanization and the economy. It's a lot of indirect effect. If anybody has one more question, my organizer is already showing me the eyes and guns, so I can take one last question and then close the topic. Anybody? Are we close? Look like that's it. I like to thank the wonderful panelists. Some of them have shown a lot of insight of how the things work. Very delightful and learning for me. Wonderful audience. Thank you. You have shown the interest on that. Sorry, Mohit want to take one more minute, so please.
I think just to complete the thing, we are forgetting one small thing, that there are many enabling technologies which really help us in adoption of steel structures. Just to give you an insight, earlier we used to have riveted structures. Now everything is now high strength friction grip bolts, HSFG bolts. Earlier we used to have, shear connectors of channel section. Now we have shear studs. Like that, there are many, innovative technologies which help us adopt a better steel structure. So in the whole discussion, we could not throw any light on such things. So just to give you a brief, so any innovation of this sort or you are having some exposure into this sort of technology, we are happy to adopt it. Please, you can send your proposals and you can, come to RDSO and discuss such things. We are very happy to adopt such technologies which can enhance adaptability of steel as such.
A wonderful invitation from Mohit. Thank you very much. And my sincere thanks to everybody for patiently listening to us and enjoying the show. So thank you.